Yeah, so hi again. Good morning. Uh, my name is Sumit Singh, and I'm the managing director of Xumit Capital. We are Ahmedabad-based investment and immigration firm with headquartered in Ahmedabad, but we have offices in Delhi and Mumbai. So we are going to present a snapshot about the immigration programs that we have across the world and how a particular investor can decide upon what program to choose and what program will fulfill the particular need of a person uh, uh, in the future. The structure of the programs, the amount that is required, the gestation period, all these things. Of course, we will not be talking about in detail because every program is very unique in its own way and very detailed one. So we will just try to give a snapshot of what uh, lies ahead for the investors who are seeking this kind of programs for themselves. So let's get started. This is the agenda for today. We will cover a few basic points about something about the company, a big misconception about what is skilled versus investment-based immigration, what's the difference between residency and citizenship, what is the trend that is going on in the HNI markets, why people are moving, and then we will talk about all these countries, right from US, Canada, Netherlands, Italy to Caribbean countries. A very brief snapshot about these countries and the programs. And lastly, we will do a question answer round. So given my estimation, we will take not more than 1 hour to complete the whole process, right from first to sixth agenda. And if you guys come up with any kind of questions, probably you can feed it in the chat box, or you can wait for the end, so that you can ask us uh, in the last part of the program. And of course, we can connect afterwards as well to discuss about the detailed programs. Right. So that's about the company. We are into investment as well as immigration advisory firm. So I've been doing this thing for last 5 years now, working with different companies, even Adani Solar as well. We have helped so far 57 Indian families for different programs and have raised $30 million. And so, as a SEBI registered investment advisor and research analyst, it is my fiduciary responsibility to provide information about the correct information about the investment that is going on for the Indian investors. And I'm also the associate member uh, with Investment Migration Council. That is the most prestigious society for investment migration domain. So that's about the background, the kind of company and person you're dealing with. So let's move ahead with the next most interesting thing, that is the difference between the skilled and the investment based immigration programs. Now, primarily skilled based immigration is for the countries to attract the talent and add to the workforce, whereas investment based immigration programs would demand the new capital infusion that can come to the country and boost the economy. So there's a difference between these two. Typically, for skilled immigration, they will look for education, experience, age. Younger age is most preferred, so that they can add to the workforce. For the immigration, it's more like the capital infusion. They would look at people with business skills, entrepreneurs. They can come to the country with the capital. They can start a business there, and again, that is going to boost the economy. And so that's why investment base doesn't have any age bar. Skilled has is based on point systems. Like if you qualify for this thing, they will give you additional scores for age, education, work experience, and everything. And if they think that you are good enough, then probably they'll ask you to. And it's very common in Canada and Australia. This skill based immigration, even for Indian one, for the US one, people go to US on H-1B visa, which is more like a sponsored skill programs. And there they will have to work for 10, 12 years and then apply for EB1, EB2, EB3 visa to to get their PR. So long they are not, they are just a temporary immigrant migrants there. And so we'll see about the three types of investment-based immigration: direct, golden visa, and active one. We will discuss about each of them. And over the past few years, this kind of program, the investment base, has gathered a lot of traction. Now most of the countries are coming up. I recently heard Sri Lanka is also coming up with their own program. Mauritius has come, Maldives has come. So it's more like infusion of capital from the foreign investors, and they are so much interested in. Right. So getting along, the next one is the residency and the citizenship. The difference between this, because uh, there's not a lot of clarity about how these things work. Uh, if you when you obtain the residency of a country, you can carry your Indian citizenship and be a resident of not one, not two, or many countries. So there is no restriction. You can have a residency of Portugal, of US, of Canada without abandoning your Indian passport. Of course, so when you have the residency, you have the freedom to work there, to have education. The most attractive part for residency is, uh, in fact, for the US and Canada, is you can avail a cheaper education. You can have a greater acceptance rate in employment, and so it's like the permanent resident versus the international foreigner worker or foreign student. So there is a lot of advantage for the people who would want to go ahead and seek residency in particular countries. And of course, I mean, with as many things as we can buy businesses, we can participate in financial markets, settle anywhere. That's a part with residency. It's a flexible thing. You don't have to necessarily go for the passport or citizenship of any particular country. You can have as many residency as you want. Now, citizenship is at the next level, wherein obviously it will encapsulate all the characteristics of the residency, but obviously it will have its own privileges given the country's law. You will have to abandon your Indian passport because India doesn't allow the dual citizenship. So that means you'll have to abandon your Indian citizenship, and you can obtain passport for US, UK, Canada, whatever country you want. It's a more powerful kind of passport that we know, give you access to, like Portugal gives you access to 180 plus countries, visa-free travel. So that is one of the attraction for the Indian investors. And with the citizenship, you can serve in the army, take up the government jobs, run for the election. So these are privileged only for the citizens. Um, so that's the difference, and the reason why it is important for the investors to know is what exactly is their purpose of going ahead with the program, whether it is to just obtain a residency so that they can open up option in the future, or they just want to move altogether from India to a different country and start anew. So, and this is more or less applicable to each and every country. Of course, they have some differentiations as well, but we'll come to that afterwards. So now this is a very interesting chart which says that in 2022 alone, 8,000 high net worth individuals have moved to different part of the countries. They have immigrated. And if you see the outward remittance that has started from 2007 to 22 in the chart, it says something happened around 15, 16. Probably it could be demonetization as well, wherein there was a spike of outward remittance from Indians. And there was a like new rich people as well. The country was flourishing, people were getting wealthier. So this infusion, and data has been taken from the RBI website. This infusion suggests that people are moving, and in fact, even the COVID times, when people were panic stuck, we got a lot of queries from investors. They wanted to secure their residency somewhere else. These kind of things would prompt people to think about why the HNIs are moving outside and how they can secure uh, alternative residence for themselves. Now, if we go with the extrapolated figure of 2023, close to close to 12,000 Indians are expected to move out of India. And so we are trying to cater that market, how they can guide themselves better in an informed way with a lot of understanding about how the investment works there. And that's how we are placed. Right. So these are the reasons, typical reasons why people go for this kind of migrations: children's education, expansion of business, family reunion, these kind of things that people look for while planning this thing. So you have to be very specific about what exactly problems are you trying to solve while you opt for any particular program. This map shows typical countries which are offering this kind of program. It's not an exhaustive list. Many countries are being introduced new, but just more we're trying to understand uh, the first world countries, European and North America. They are particularly very eager about having more rich people in their country so that economy can be boosted by the money and the talent. Uh, so that's a snapshot. So now let's move ahead to the USA, the most coveted country. Like, Indians have a lot of interest in moving to US for various reasons. So we'll start with the US one. Uh, that's the snapshot for the investors. What exactly are they offering? We'll talk about them in detail, but just a view of what you can expect. About EB5 program. The EB5 program is a permanent residency program for the US. And it was started like 32 years back by the US Congress to boost the economy and create new jobs. That is the whole purpose of EB5, to create new jobs. And when you come to understand how the investment work, then you will see why job creation is the most important thing, and how EB5 program will work. So it requires an job creation of at least 10 jobs, sustainable for 2 years for by the investors. And if you manage to do that, then the applicant, his or her spouse and kids under 21 are eligible to get the green card, the permanent residency. So you can learn about more about the EB5 program on the USCIS website. But let me help you with other informations as well. So you must have known that recently, around March 2022, we saw a new uh, policy rolled out for EB5, which has changed the capital requirement from $500,000 to $800,000. So 800K is the amount which would translate into around 6.5 CR, which has to be invested in a project which is approved as a EB5 project in a targeted employment area. And what is that? We will come to know that. But this is the amount. This amount is typically logged in for 5 years in a project, and many projects will give you a yield which could vary from 0.5% to, let's say, 1.52%. And obviously, after the end of 5 years, you'll get your money back. Uh, so that is the first requirement. The capital infusion has to be $800,000. The second and the most important thing, which many Indian falters, is producing the source of income, the source of capital from where they have produced the capital. It's a very lengthy process, because even the immigration attorney will be attached, and they will be looking at your papers, whether your application, your source of fund is worthy enough to go through USCIS process, rigorous process. So that is the second part. You have to prove legal source of income. And of course, that's third would be the background check, uh, which is very nominal. Now, how the EB5 timeline works. Let's say you have decided that you would want to go ahead with the EB5 program. You will engage the immigration attorney on a retainer, and he or she will be going through your paperwork about your source of fund. So they take at least 30 days to understand your paperwork and everything, and they will file the first petition called I-526 petition to the USCIS. Now, Typically, for 18 months, you will have to wait for the USCIS to get back to you, to give their verdict whether your source of fund is good enough, and the project you're infusing capital in is able to create 10 new jobs or not. So here, regional centers come into picture. They are like a licensed private asset managers. They would help scouting for new projects. But anyways, you will get to know about your status from UCS after 18 months, and then you will have to either go to consulate interview in Delhi or Mumbai, big cities, or if you are in the US, you will go for a status change of status. Like you are working on H1B and you apply for this thing that I have got a green light from USCIS, and I can now move from non-permanent to permanent one. Uh, so once you are in the US on what you call a conditional PR, conditional green card, because conditional is because even though your money is okay for the project, we still have to see whether this money is creating jobs or not. So that's where they will give you 2 years. You can be in the US on conditional PR, you can study, you can do work, business, whatever you want to do. But for 2 years, they will monitor. And after 2 years, you'll have to file one more petition called I-829, wherein you will show to the USCIS that, look, my $800,000 has created 10 new jobs. This is the proof. And of course, you will be helped by the immigration attorney and regional centers to produce all this kind of thing. So it's more like EB5 is more like a passive kind of investment. You don't have to be involved in the project. You don't have to run it. You just have to be a passive investor and see whether you are putting money in a right place. That's it. Right. So you file I-29, and it takes close to 6 to 9 months to get your what you call permanent PR. So conditional PR will be converted to permanent PR, and that time you will get your money back, the capital money back, the fiscal money back, which is $18,000. Now you have the option to, if you want to abandon your Indian passport, then after 2 years as a permanent PR, you will surrender your Indian passport and get the US passport. That's an optional thing. Not many Indians would do that, but that's the normal way of doing things. So that's the EB5 timeline for you. Uh, the Reform and Integrity Act, which recently came, has given a lot of protection to the investors. It has reformed the EB5 program a lot. So the regional center program has been extended till September 2027. So you don't have to worry whether the program expires. It's safe. There is a special category of visas which has been put aside for rural area projects and projects which are at the high unemployment areas, and 2% for the infrastructure projects. So you have to understand, every year the USCIS allocate 10,000 EB5 visas across the world, and every country has a quota of 7%. So for Indians, 700 visas per year will be allocated. Now, if you see there are projects which have the quota, 20% quota in rural areas, and you invest there, so there is a high chances that your application will be moved faster. So these are the moving parts that you have to see, and of course we will help you with this, how to identify the projects which has a higher probability. And concurrent filing, the last point, is the most important one, which has given a lot of leeway to the people who are in the US, either on H1B visa or F1 visa, student visa. So concurrent filing says that when you have invested capital and have filed I-526 with the USCIS, you can straight away show to the government that this is a filing which has been done, and I may no longer be working on H1B because I have already filed for I-526. It's a concurrent filing thing, which enables you to stay in the US on a visa which is not what you call H1B or F1 visa. So if after 1 year your EB5 application has not been approved, but in the process, but you are done with your course or sponsorship, even then you can stay in the US and continue with your work. That is the beauty of concurrent filing, which and so many Indians have participated recently on concurrent filing just to secure their place in the US. So we work with lot of we work with lot of regional centers and developers in the US. And as a financial analyst firm, we do a lot of due diligence from our side to understand what are the projects. And so because we work with the investors to provide them the best solution, the best investment avenue. So these are the typical, on the left side, the typical projects: housing, hotel, restaurant, luxury condominiums. Many kind of projects are available, which we screen and try to understand could be a good fit for the Indian investors. So here we help as a single point of contact for the investors. We have a complete ecosystem wherein we have immigration attorneys, bankers, accountants, developers, legal centers, who we try to collaborate with the investors so that they can have an informed decision on where to invest and how to invest, how the process can be seamless. And so that's how we come into picture. We've been working. We also uh, help with the what you call private placement memorandums, the offering documents, for us to understand how this complicated paperwork works and what investors should know. So that's where we come into picture. So that's about the EB5 program. Of course, we will have more discussion if you are interested in EB5. Let's take up the Canadian program here. So Canada is it has a very active kind of thing. They used to have many programs, provincial programs, and uh, there were owner operator programs. But now the existing one for the investors is the active investor visa. It's an active investor means you will have to come up with the business idea, or you have to be a part of business idea in the country in Canada, and become a active participant by infusing a capital which is close to 200,000 Canadian dollars. So Canadian dollars is 60 rupees right now. It's like close to 1.2 cr, 1.5 cr. You have to infuse and come up with a business idea. So either you have your own startup ideas, or you collaborate with the existing startup in Canada. For that, we help you because we have a lot of point of contacts in Canada, the incubation centers, which would require investors like you. But your own profile, your work experience would matter here. What have you done in terms of education? Where have you been working? And so that has to be relevant with the startup you are going to associate with. So that particular entity can have a maximum of 5 co-founders. Then you proceed with giving this business idea to a designated organization, wherein they will approve whether your business idea is feasible or not. And they give you a lot of support. You have to give a very basic kind of English test, and will be given a PR to start working in the country, Canada. So that's a timeline which is very, very mild. It's like 12 to 18 months of whole process. Again, you will have the option whether you want to go ahead with the passport or not. But Canada does require a very firm understanding of what business venture you are going to deal in. EB5 was a bit different. It was a moderate risk one. It is a high risk one because you are directly infusing capital in the startup, some startup idea. So even though the success of the startup would not matter for your PR, but of course, capital is there, right? It's like 1.5 CR that you have to infuse. So it's a very mild program, 18 months. Many Indians are trying to explore this option. So whenever whoever is ready to discuss more about Canadian program, we are happy to do that. UK does have a very similar kind of program, which is much more stringent than the Canadian one. Again, it's an active kind of program. The investment amount which is mentioned here is £550,000, which would be like 50 lakh rupees. But please don't be misguided with this amount, because the whole process is very stringent, and normally any startup would require at least 150,000 to 200,000 pounds to get sustained in the UK. So here the process of identifying whether your business idea is feasible or not is much more stringent, right? So they are looking for a business idea which has to be innovative, it has to be viable and scalable, and that requires a lot of scrutiny from the what do you call from the endorsing body in the UK, which will go through your complete uh, business plan and everything. So again, it's a two-way thing. Either you can start a innovative startup in UK, or you can collaborate with the existing one in UK. Again, your application, your resume will be the most important thing here. And after some time, they will try to understand, out of the 7 items that has been written there, 2 has to be satisfied, whether it is like generating revenue, or you have applied for intellectual property, or you have created 10 jobs. Any 2 of them has to be there for you to claim your PR. And again, for the PR, it will take, I mean, you can start the process and be in UK very fast within 1 month or 2 months. But for you to get the PR, there are few conditions: that you have to be present in UK for a good long time, at least 180 days per year, and you can get your permanent residency within 3 years, right? And again, for the UK citizenship, it has a different kind of dynamics that you will have to understand. So again, UK again requires a lot of it's more like a high risk kind of thing, because active participation is required, unlike many other programs that you will see afterwards. Third would be Ireland. Uh, Now, Ireland does offer the program which has a very uh, different kind of spectrum. The investment amount is close to 400,000 euros. I think euro is around 86 rupees right now. So you can see how much amount is required to be invested here. So the amount here, like 400,000, 500,000 euros, was sort of donation that you have to give. Like you have to donate for a philanthropic kind of causes, and you have to forget about the money. That is the fourth option. Other option is like you invest 1 million euros in a Irish enterprise, and of course that investment has to be sustained for 3 years for you to get the PR. And other options as well. Investment fund is there, the VC fund, the REITs, real estate investment trust. $2 million you have to invest. Safer kind of options here, and that's how the program work. Ireland. The beauty of the program is you have the access to UK as well as the Schengen, the Eurozone, with this program, with this PR. So this is the amount for PR for the Ireland program. Netherlands, in at least for my part, Netherlands does. It's one of the very few countries in Norwegian area which offers this kind of program. Maybe Switzerland is there, which offers PR, but they have a very high condition that you have to establish a business there. You have to pay a lot of taxes in Swiss franc. Then only you can think about. So Netherlands does have a high amount. It demands investment of at least 1.25 million uh, for us to get the PR. And the timeline is again the same, like 5 years. You get, I mean, you infuse the capital, you get a residency, but permanent residency will come only after 5 years. Application process is very fast. So there are a few avenues how you can invest there. It could be like investing in a company or a fund supported by the government, or it could be a indirect fund which has exposure to the sovereign of Norwegian country, and they have a criteria of this thing. So all in all, this kind of country doesn't offer dual citizenship. So you have to understand that if you opt for the citizenship of the country, we will have to abandon your Indian passport altogether. And it has a criteria of how to go ahead with understanding the process as well. So these are the countries that we have been talking about. I'll give you one more. So from here, my colleague Dheer Ved will take you forward about different countries, uh, which will be like European and Caribbean countries, which have a lot of interest shown in India. So yeah, Dheer, you can take it over.
Hi everyone, can you see my screen? Hello, is my screen visible?
Yes, go ahead.
So hi everyone. So now I'll take you through the rest of the European programs and the Caribbean programs. So these 4 European programs are the most desired in which investors look out for. They are Portugal, Greece, Italy, and Spain, also called as Four Sisters. So now let's look at this program one by one. So Portugal. So when we say Portugal, Portugal is famous for its sport wine and the soccer champion Cristiano Ronaldo. But Portugal is much more famous for offering one of the best golden visa programs throughout the world. Since its inception in 2012, it has attracted around 7,500 investors, gathering around more than $5 billion in the Portuguese economy. So Portugal offers various investment options for investors, such as a real estate investment of 280,000 euros, which is the cheapest option available in the Portugal. If we see in terms of INR, it comes around 2 crores 40 lakhs. Next option is a real estate investment of 350,000 euros. It has to be a property which is in an urban area and must be at least 30 years old. The next is a real estate investment of 500,000 euros. You can buy one property or 10 properties, but the amount must be at least 500,000 euros. And the last option is a capital transfer in a Portuguese bank account of 1.5 million euros. So some of the basic requirements to gain a Portugal Golden Visa program is you need to stay for at least 7 days per year in the Portugal. So the timeline goes by 1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 5. So when all the process is done and you get a PR, permanent residency, for it valid for 1 year, then you have to renew it again for the 2 years, and then again after 2 years. So after the 2 years, after the 5th year, you have an option to take a citizenship, or you can continue with the permanent residency as well. You have to make and maintain a qualified investment for 5 years minimum. You should have a basic knowledge of the Portuguese language, at least A2 level should be cleared, and you can obtain for Portuguese citizenship after 6 years. The next country is Greece. So when we say Greece, Greece is the most safest country. It has attracted more high net worth individuals all around the world because it's famous for its Mediterranean climate, fresh food, and extraordinary services. So Greece Golden Visa offers various investment options for investors, such as a real estate investment of 250,000 euros, which is the lowest amount required in the Europe. If we see in terms of INR, it goes by 1 crores, 2 crores 14 lakhs or 15 lakhs. The next option is you can buy bonds worth rupees 400,000 euros. The next option is you can buy shares or corporate bonds worth 800,000 euros. Or last is you can put 400,000 euros in real estate investment company which buy Greek properties. Some basic requirements are when you get a PR, it's valid for 5 years. You can there is an option to be renewed if you continue to hold the minimum investment. You are not required to live in the Greece when your process is going on, but when the PR is obtained and when you try to apply for the citizenship, you have to stay for a minimum number of days. You can be a Greek resident, but you don't have to pay tax unless and until you don't stay for 183 days per year in the Greece. And the last is you have an option to go for Greek citizenship after 7 years. Next country is Italy. So when we say Italy, pizza, pasta, or the Great Rome comes into our mind. Italy is a country in the European. So Italy offers various investment options for investors, such as a 250,000 euro investment in a startup that will be risky, but it's a minimum investment. A 500,000 euro investment in the shares of a limited company. a donation of at least 1 million euros. And the last option is you can have a bond or a similar investment worth rupees 2 million euros. Some of the basic process or requirements are the due diligence will be done. Then you have to travel to Italy, open a bank account, and you'll get your PR. And you'll get a permit which is valid for 1 year, or which is valid for 2 years. Then you have an option to renew it for the 3 years. So that's an initial permit, but you have an option. So you'll get a permanent resident after 5 years. And there is no physical presence requirement under this permit. You can get an Italian citizenship after 10 years. And Italy also offers you with dual citizenship. That means you can have an Indian passport as well as Italian passport. And the last European country is Spain. So Spain as a country needs no introduction because of its rich culture. So Spain offers you various investment options for investors. A real estate investment of 500,000 euros. So you can buy land, plot, building, and so on, whichever you want. You can make a donation of, you can make a deposit of 1 million euros in Spanish bank account, or you can commit a 1 million euros in investment funds or VC funds in Spain. And the last option is you can buy government bonds worth rupees 2 million euros. So the Spanish passport is also ranked the 4th in the world, and you have an access to 189 countries visa free. Some basic requirements are, so once the process is approved, you'll be issued with 1 year visa. You'll need to travel to Spain and apply for the residency in person. The permit, the initial permit is renewed, which is valid for 1 year, has to be renewed after 1 year and again after 3 years. So basically you'll get a permanent residency after 5 years of maintaining your investment. There is no minimum stay when you are on the initial permit, but once you get a permanent residency, you have to stay for at least 183 days in Spain. And you can get a Spanish citizenship after 10 years. So these were the golden programs. So Golden Visa program also offers you with visa-free travel to 27 Schengen countries as well. So this is the key benefit of the Golden Visa program. Now let's look at the Caribbean programs. So Caribbean programs offer you direct citizenship programs. So let's understand what is direct citizenship program. So these are the programs which offer direct citizenship to the investors within few months with a minimum investment or donation based investment within very few months, let's say 3 to 6 months. So the first country is Antigua and Barbuda. It offers direct citizenship by program, which is also called CIP, direct citizenship by investment program. The financial requirements include a $100,000 donation for a single applicant or a family of 4. So the investor, spouse, and the 2 kids. The next is a $120,000 donation for a family of 6 into the University of West Indies Fund. The next is a $200,000 fractional ownership investment in the real estate. This you have to maintain for minimum of 5 years. And the last is $1.5 million business investment per single investor. So there have been the government processing fees, which is $30,000 per primary applicant. The basic requirements are you need to make an initial deposit while submitting your documents. Once the due diligence is done and the process is approved, you'll gain your citizenship and a new passport within 3 to 6 months. This program offers you, basically the small requirement is you have to visit at least 5 days within the first 5 years to Antigua and Barbuda of being a citizen. And the key benefit is this offers you a dual and a multiple citizenship. The next country is Grenada. So Grenada is a trial island nation in the Caribbean area, which is largely undiscovered. The Grenada offers direct CIP program, and the financial requirements are you need to make a donation into the National Transformation Fund of $150,000. The second is a $200,000 for the primary applicant and the spouse and 2 dependents, which is a family of 4. A $220,000 investment for each share in the real estate project. And if you want to buy a full ownership, you have to pay $350,000 into the approved real estate property. So basic government fees are $50,000 for the family of 4. These are the basic fees which government takes. Basic requirement is An investor has to make an initial payment for the process to be approved and prepare with the documents. There is no requirement to visit Grenada. The most important and the key benefit that Grenada has, it is a E2 treaty with the United States. So what is E2 treaty? E2 treaty is a business investor visa, treaty investor visa, which is offered by the US. So basically, who want to go to US for the business purpose, that country has to be the treaty country with the United States, and the Grenada has this E2 treaty visa with the United States, and this permits dual and multiple citizenship. That means you can have both or many countries passport. And the last country we are going to look today is Saint Kitts and Nevis. So Saint Kitts and Nevis offers CIP program. Some of the financial requirements are investment or a donation into the Sustainable Growth Fund of $150,000 for single applicant. If you want to make a real estate investment per single applicant, you have to pay $400,000, and the investment has to be 5 years. If you want to make a joint investment, like you and your friend can make a joint investment for 200,000 per applicant, but the investment has to be for the 7 years. And some of the basic government associated fees is 35,000 for the main applicant, and due diligence fees is 7,500. Basic requirement is you need to pay an initial deposit. There will be a background check and the documents check. Once the application is approved, you'll get your final investment. So the final investment needs to be transferred. You'll get your citizenship and passport within 3 to 6 months. So there is no language test to go to the Saint Kitts and Nevis, and no minimum stay requirements. Also, this country permits dual and multiple citizenship. So these were the Caribbean programs. Also, these are some other countries which we do. So now let's take on the questions.
Yes, so Mr. Singh has a question. How will recession impact this program? Uh, Mr. Singh, we have seen this thing happening during the COVID times where many of the projects were into hospitality business. And of course, even though most of them that we knew about, they did not collapse, but they had to restructure their lending terms to sustain. So even though this thing was never seen, like it was like a black swan event which we could not predict, but many so in the worst case scenario, if the developer is good and does have a deep pocket, he can always restructure the loan and your green card will be secured. But there is a possibility that your money may take longer for you to reach it. It may be more than 5 years, could be 7 years or 8 years, depending on the impact that has done. So recession obviously affects hospitality business, but we work with many other projects which ranges from typical senior home living projects, which is one of the things that government always promote for social welfare. We work with what you call real estate construction projects, which are mostly into uh, uh, your your leisure parks and your hotels and all these kind of things, amusement parks. We also work with manufacturing firms, which raises GB5 capital. So we will have to choose the project and understand how the things can happen, because mostly in the past, hospitality business has flourished a lot in under EB5, but during COVID times, yes, it has been affected a lot. So yeah, that can be discussed how to choose a project. Second question is also from Mr. Singh. 5 years from when? Getting the green card or from the first day of investment? So the timeline says that if you infuse the capital in EB5 today, you will get your green card, your provisional green card, from 18 to 24 months. You get your money back after 5 years, and you get your citizenship from 7 years from now. So that is the timeline. I hope I answered the question here. Uh, then we have I missed the session. Can we get the recording? Any idea about the non-lucrative visa program in Spain? So non-lucrative program in Spain, Dheer, can you throw some light?
Just a second.
This slide for Spain.
Can you explain me what do you want to know about it? I'm not getting your question, Mr. Varun.
Can you just open the slide first and we can discuss because we have to understand the programs which the different avenues which caters to Spain. Yeah, this one. Yeah, so among the four sisters, your Portugal, Italy, Spain, and Greece.
Please.
Spain is the most expensive one, which demands investment of 500,000 euros. So at least from the golden visa point of view, Mr. Mohindra, this is the best you can get from the country. I mean, this is the best option that you have, 500K. Which European golden visa do you suggest and why? Why do you have details on Portugal startup visa? So recently we have seen a lot of interest in Portugal visa by the Indians, also because there has been some substantial diaspora in Portugal. It has a very reasonable kind of investment, which is close to, I think, 2.5 CR, which has to be invested into a real estate. So real estate is supposedly uh, a lesser kind of investment and doesn't really require your active participation. As a country, it's a tropical country and somewhere middle, not far east or far west. So many Indians have preferred this kind of program, the Portugal program, with the affordable amount, which is like 0.5 CR. Do we have details of Portugal startup visa? No, we have no idea about Portugal startup visa. It is not under the radar. I mean, never heard about this thing. We are basically into exports import business, looking to understand European immigration program. So, Mr. Raghavan, of course, we can discuss about that. Probably you can share with us what are the countries that you're dealing with and why you having a satellite office in Europe or Middle East could boost your business and export import business. So that we can discuss one on one when we understand your own basic requirements. Uh, uh, Miss Shruti has a question. How does the Australian program work, and does it also mean we get PR benefit of New Zealand? No, ma'am. PR, the if you get the PR for Australia, it will not be a part of New Zealand program. First thing first. Second thing is Australia and New Zealand are the most expensive program in the market today. Australia demands close to 1.5 million Australian dollars to be invested, and New Zealand demands close to 2.5 New Zealand dollars to be invested. And the investment amount is not the daunting part. You have to show up to the government that you have a very innovative business startup that you want to start. So your business plan has to be there. It has to be very important, and of course, has to be there. So it's not one of the most favorite for the Indian investors when it comes to investment migration business, Australia and New Zealand. The investment real estate has to be own funds or it can be through loans. Yes. So countries like these four sisters, Portugal, Spain, Greece, and Italy, they do not put a lot of emphasis on the source of fund, and they are very much liberal about you raising capital through loans or through gifts from your relatives and friends. So that is doable, of course, unlike other programs. So here, this can be discussed with the immigration attorney. What exactly you mean by loan? Is it loan from the bank or from the relatives? And this can be doable. We already have operations in Maldives, Sri Lanka, and Dubai. Again, Mr. Raghavan, we got to have discussion on this. We need to understand the whole thing before suggesting you, because every country also have some what do you call tax rebates and tax exemptions which you can avail, and Middle East is one of the options. We have not spoken about Dubai program. It is also there, and it could be contensive, but Dubai doesn't give you the permanent residency. It's a residency as long as you have invested capital and the quantum of capital. So we will discuss. I would like to have a conversation with you in person. I think we have spoken about all the questions now. If you have any other questions, please let us know in the chat box. And we still have 5 minutes to go, so we'll be happy to answer. Well, I think that's about it. Dheer, you can open the last slide. So for any questions that you have or you want to have a one-on-one discussion, please write to Dheer or just call him up, and we would happy to have a one-on-one kind of conversation with you to understand how we can best offer you services, and it has to be personalized as well. At the end of the day, I'll share the video with you after uploading it on YouTube, and also will share the slides, the presentations with you for your own reference so that you can refer it in your leisure time. Just let us know whatever requirements you have. We're happy to help you here. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for your time on Sunday, lazy Sunday afternoon. I wish you best and hope to see you again. Bye-bye.